Let's start with this large painting, The Bondage of Self. Practices and disciplines like the Buddhist Eightfold Path offer the possibility for a person to gain release from the terrible bondage of self. This painting is a visual expression of what that particular oppression, that bondage, can look like and feel like. I'm of the opinion that most people have had especially bad days like this when they felt just like what's going on with the person depicted in this picture. American Taliban portrays another kind of bondage, the kind that binds and imprisons those among us who worship political fanaticism, racism, and violence. These guys are out there. It's a real American type. And such a fun picture to paint. Thanks very much to my friend Joseph, who posed before we sent him off to the dentist. This theme of excess zeal is carried forward in the colorful vigor of Rumsfeld beaten by guards at Guantanamo. Originally it was called George W. Bush beaten by guards at Guantanamo, but we were afraid that with that title on the painting it might bring on unwanted visits from the Secret Service. Maybe we should call it George W. Bush look-alike beaten by guards at Guantanamo. Oops, what's that knock on my door? I love this picture. It has a super energy, and it's a lot of fun, while it also captures a lot of the good old-fashioned violence that can be such a central part of our nature. Garsh's Bar, on the other hand, is a place to go to enjoy a respite. That's my dad on the right, my mom on the left, and the cat down there. When I was a little boy, my grandmother once asked me what I wanted for Christmas. I said bar pants. She looked at my mother. "What's the boy saying?" My mother replied, "Bar pants, trousers to wear at the tavern." Man, dog, hydrant is just a nice, amusing little piece. The Old Politician is a portrait of evil. Feel free to pick your villain. There's no shortage out there. I myself originally had in mind the former American president and affable old fox, Ronald Reagan. But compared to Bashir al-Assad of Syria, Reagan was a really nice guy and a real freedom fighter. If you remember a recent and important United States congressman and House Majority Whip known as the Hammer, now a convicted felon, money laundering, you will pause, perhaps with pleasure, in front of Tom DeLay and the Misses, the Wilderness Years. Here he is, with the Misses, out of office, out of luck, but confident that he or his political kin will be back. Guns, Gold, and God provides a way of seeing something of where we have got to in our national political culture, at least in some parts of America, and what we've made of ourselves. Karl Rove was a very influential éminence grise in the White House who needed to have his portrait painted. But he could only pose when he was on a break. The resulting painting is called Karl Rove Takes a Cigarette Break. Like Karl Rove, the whore of Babylon is a Christian allegorical figure of evil mentioned in the book of Revelation in the Bible. Her full title is given as Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and abominations of the earth. If you read the newspapers, you know she's out there someplace, very much alive, and actively engaged in making things happen. Ken Starr was the special prosecutor hired to spend whatever it took to find whatever there was to find that could cut short Bill Clinton's presidency. Ah, but the worm turns. Imagine being able to say Ken Starr finally does some real jail time. Tambourine Man seems to have something to do with dancing to somebody else's tune. Nobody we know is doing anything like that. Another stupid jihadi. It's one thing to dream about pulling evil stunts. It's another to actually carry them out. As you can see, this guy is really stupid, as are a whole lot of those beheaders. Dick Cheney in an undisclosed location. Ah, what a therapeutic exercise it was to paint his portrait. What better way to communicate what a dreadful little man he is, what a liar. Oops, excuse me. I believe I hear someone knocking at my door. Less Christian, more Christ. Take a perfectly good spiritual impulse, the excellent intentions of a really good man, in this case Jesus, and mess it up by making a religion out of it. Time to take it back. I've heard it said, don't stop at Wall Street. Occupy religion. Marabou. This is nobody in particular. It's just a marabou, a North African Muslim religious man. It's amazing how ultra-conservative mullahs have got me completely spooked. It's always best to avoid creating any kind of misunderstanding in the heads of the ignorant or the fanatic. We don't want to bring a fatwa down on our heads from some crazy defender of the faith. By the way, it occurs to me, if the faith needs defending against blasphemy or anything else, doesn't it suggest that faith has no real power, but rather only coercive power, the power of dangerous people with sticks or guns in their hands? Anyway, I love the feeling of the painting, exotic, foreign, somewhat menacing, but at the same time quite attractive and comforting. New shoes. I end with this one. He's sweet and pure, and he helps bring calm after the intensity of the earlier paintings.
How do I know my youth is all spent? Might get up and go, just got up and went. But in spite of it all, I'm able to grin and think of the places my get up has been. Old age is golden, so I've heard said, but sometimes I wonder as I crawl into bed, with my ears in a drawer, my teeth in a cup, my eyes on the table until I wake up. As sleep dims my vision, I say to myself, is there any